Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Market Report. I am Army Piper. It is Monday, August 11th, and we've got some green market going on. Was pulling back from an all-time high. Well, not an all-time high, but from the overnight high, I should say. But we got a little bounce here, and I'll show you where it's at on this chart. Let me go ahead and bring that up. Little pullback. Little. Which side? There we go. Little pullback there off the 887, guys. A perfect rejection on the top of the platinum pocket. Now getting our bounce on the golden pocket. So we'll see if that holds. We also have a CME gap that was formed from the CME futures from Friday to Monday when market opened last night. So we'll talk about that, where that level is at and what it would look like if we pull down there. I think we'll hold. There's some key things coming in at that level that we'll look at also, guys. Big data this week on the economic front, on the macro front. We are looking at CPI, core CPI, PPI, and ISM manufacturing sentiment. So we're going to be breaking all that down, talk about what it looks like for this week and what levels we need to hold, and give you guys everything you need to have a little bit of knowledge. Guys, you know what time it is. Take your seats, get your notebooks out, bed ready. Shout out to you. I seen you, bro. Yeah, it was good morning about 8 hours ago. Hey, we can't all live in the same city. If we did, we'd party all the time. We'd never get anything done. So let's go, guys. Let's get it. Class is in session. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Bedredden, good afternoon to you, bro. I appreciate everyone being here, but you know who I'm really appreciative of being here? He's not leaving me alone and afraid and out here, doing my thing. What's up, OC guy? How you doing today, bro?
Let me mute myself first, and then let's say that I'm doing fantastic. Had a great night's sleep.
Pretty good.
And and well, I'm seeing things starting to bounce back down. So basically, a couple of shows that we entered yesterday. What was it? Saturday. By the way, we came on Saturday. It was a fantastic night. I mean, pretty bad at aiming, by the way. A lot of lag. I need to blame it on the lag. But maybe this upcoming Saturday, we're also gonna be coming together for gaming and trading at the same time. Let's see how we do the best, either gaming or trading. But other than that, pretty excited to begin the week with.
Alex though said I don't see Otter swag. No, because I used my coffee mug yesterday and my shirt is dirty. So Otter swag is not being worn today, but my heart is an OG heart, Alex O Crypto. Shout out to the Otter gangs joining us in here. I appreciate everyone. Guys, if you don't have the Otter swag, maybe I need to order more. That's what I need to do. I need to go onto the website, Alex O, and I need to order some more Otter swag so that if it doesn't get done in 1 week of laundry, if I let it run a little bit over, I have an extra shirt. That's what I'm going to do. Alex O, I'm sorry. My apologies. I will order another amazing, by the way, amazing quality Otter Gang. It's an OG polo. It's actually super nice quality. It's one of my nicest polos that I have. So really good quality. But shout out to everybody joining us. Let's go ahead and bring them over here. Get them up here on the screen with us. We got Lunar Beaches Crypto in here. So my heart goes out to you. Hey, Lunar Beaches. If you guys don't know, LBC had a little scare recently. So his wife is super prego, and she's a lovely lady. And we met her in Vegas, and she's like, I ain't felt the baby move. She's pretty close to popping right now. So, but everything came out. Thank you. Thank God. Everything was okay. But yeah, when I saw that LBC, of course, I'm going to reply to that, man. Shout out to Dylan VA. Shout out to Alexander G, the Mod Queen, Golden Child, Drew, Ahsoka Tano. It's hard to say that name. I know the character well. Can't get the name off. Two dubs in the house. Which I find 89 in here with this Bedredden, of course, in here. BC Port Corp. Who else do we got? Usernames in here. I saw that. I saw Golden Child, Harp, Steve Hickey, the whole gang. JB is in here. Hulk Smash. That's right. Get it, bro. So appreciate everyone that is joining us here. And if I didn't say your name out, it just means that I'm in a rush to get to the show, not in a rush to forget about you. I can never forget about the Otter Gang and all the alumni that hang out here on Monday with us. OC, let's go ahead and jump onto the Bitcoin chart. Let's talk about where we hit, because we had a little pumpy weekend. It was pumptastic. Ironically enough, it was exactly where we said it was going to go because we talked about this all last week that there was short max pain sitting at 120,000 plus, and we showed that on the heat map. We showed that on the metrics chart. It's where it went to and hit. Now, what are we looking like? Let's talk about that. Let's get this week set up and let's give these guys some knowledge. Let's go ahead, jump over to your chart. Let's talk about Bitcoin. What are we seeing, bro?
Absolutely. So let's get started here on this old chart that we have had. This is, by the way, trading with OC chart. We're going to be going back to the traditional charts, but let's bring up what we were expecting here, and not only where, but also since when. Remember that since July 29th, we were expecting a breakout retest, and that is because we were above the dynamic reactor. We still had that momentum. But right there, as we were coming back down and then back up, we said, well, we created a lower high, so we're coming back down here. And we nailed this entry, by the way, with half of an entry, but also we left out this one holding. On Friday, we also were talking about this same entry right here, saying, well, remember, at this point, we're looking good. We could be breaking. What happens? We have a breakout retest continuation, peak performance in here to come back down, find support, and finally breaking through our range. What range are we talking about? Of course, this one. Let me unlock it so we can actually edit it. Here it is. So this is the range that we've been hitting at lately. So yeah, by the way, since I just extended it, it just ringed. So what happened here, that was a perfect entry right here at the top. I was expecting a little bit of a secondary movement. If you can see, half an entry there and half an entry right here, a little bit higher on that predictive range that matches almost to the new purple predictive ranges. Another important thing that happened is that as soon as we broke the purple, we went to find the golden, and right now going for that blue line. So we are on the retest. Should we be jumping in right now for a reentry? I would say not quite. And why is that? Despite we're having some rejection here, so some absorption. Let me zoom that in. There we go. Some rejection and some absorption that looks like we can continue to the upside. Our RSI prime right down here. Let me make it a little bit bigger. We are just getting started with the momentum down in here, just like it happened right here, just like it happened in here, just like it happened in here. Could it be just like a fake out of here? Yes, absolutely it could. But so far, I'd rather just wait for a little bit more and then go in for a long. If not, if you really want to go for a long, aim somewhere around here. I would say go for your stop loss somewhere around 118,800. What is it? 838 ish, and then we'll aim below your previous highs. But I think this is a very dangerous trade, and that is precisely because we're getting, or we could be getting, acceptance back into the range. Remember, once we get acceptance back into the range, the possibilities to hit the other side of the range, they blow up and they get very, very high. So that's why I think right now being a little bit patient in prudence would be the way to go, and just wait for that confirmation that we have broken the range. Spoiler alert, I'm looking at a secondary re-entry on the short on Ethereum that I took on Saturday, and I'm looking at other stuff like, for example, a short right here on LDO, depending on how Bitcoin closes that candle. So that's what I'm looking into Bitcoin, and depending on Bitcoin, how we're going to be playing out the rest of the altcoins.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Shout out to Crypto Billy. He's in here. Hey, by the way, if you guys didn't watch the podcast with Dave Digital on Sunday, he's using an AI that we're going to be checking out here on the Piper Academy Network, BC Port Corp. I just sent you that link also. But yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing because it was an AI doing like a podcast with itself with another voice, and then you could interact with it and asking it questions as a listener. So it was amazing. It was amazing. What AI is able to do is scary and awesome all at the same time. So, which I guess is technically the definition of awesome. Awful, awesome, in awe. Anyway, let's go ahead and keep it going here. Also, OC, if you don't know, I got a bid on my house this weekend. Got a bid on my house in El Paso. They did lowball it. They did lowball it. However, uh, given the current conditions of the housing market, if you guys don't know, housing market, because rates are so high, a lot of people are not wanting to buy a house at these high rates. And then also they think that rate cuts are coming, which they likely are, meaning that they're like, I'll wait and see what it's like then. And then at the same time, everyone that's been trying to sell their houses, the inventory is just stacking up. So if you're not a standout house, it's very difficult to get a offer, and we got one this weekend. So makes me feel good. Fingers crossed. We'll see if it goes through. But as of right now, yeah, get that house sold. I need more dry powder. Damn it, more dry powder. Let's get that house sold. Let's go check out the news over here, guys, and break all of this down. What's going on this week? There's quite a bit you guys need to know about. So let's talk about that and jump over there. On the news side, looking at the metrics from Into the Cryptoverse today, guys, we are currently sitting at a crypto market cap of $3.994 trillion. The trend line on this is sitting at $4.189 trillion, currently undervalued about 4.64%, getting very close to that median average of valuation. Also, jump down here and look at the Bitcoin risk bands. Current risk level sitting at 56.3. It is DCA Monday. We have dropped all of the DCA levels in our Discord. So Bitcoin, all the alts, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, XLM, Render, ADA is in there. Link is in there. All of the altcoin DCA levels all dropped in this week. So and then lastly, the Bitcoin dominance sitting here currently with stable coins. We've lost that 60%. We're sitting at 59.61 without stable, 63.76. Just a slight pullback. Are we in altcoin season yet? We'll talk about that in a second. Still a little bit farther away from it. Looking at the fear and greed index, we're currently sitting at 70 on fear and greed. 76, we go into extreme greed. We were neutral and it pumped back up. So right now, 70, not too bad. We'll take it. Last 24 hours, guys. Let's talk about that. In the last 24 hours, there were 121,475 traders that got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $427.49 million. Largest single liquidation order was on OKX. It was a Bitcoin trade. It was only 9.1 million. No big deal. No big deal at all. Looking here, we should be on the US now because we're not in pre-market. Let's refresh that and see how it's looking. There we go. Right now, the NASDAQ, the S&P are both sitting just neutral, really, guys. They're 0.15 and 0.07%. So a little bit of a wait and see, I think, going on in the markets today because nobody's wanting to rush in right now, given what we may get on CPI data coming in. Because if CPI data comes in hotter than it's expected to be, then that would mean that we would see Jerome Powell and the Fed Reserve go, okay, look, this is what we were talking about. Yes, job numbers are bad, but so is inflation. We really can't cut and we really can't raise. One would affect job numbers. One would increase job numbers weakening. One would increase inflation. And so if we get into that higher inflation this week, that's what these guys are waiting on right now. Dow Jones is down about 0.11%. Russell 2K, small cap sitting at 0.36, and the VIX is green, but it's below 17, so we'll let that ride. You get a buy this week. European markets last night, mixed, mostly red. FTSE was only one in the green. Look at the Asian markets, all in the green overnight. Asian markets pumping Bitcoin also last night and Ethereum. So bond market, U.S. 10-year yield. This is what we're talking about also with the rates on people waiting for it to come down so they can buy a house, so on and so forth. Car loans, everything's based on that 10-year yield over there, guys. The U.S. 10-year yield is down just slightly, but it is staying in that 4.2 range. We're now at 4.27, was at 4.22. I do think that this has a chance of coming back up if those inflation numbers come in wonky. So oil markets, all green except for natural gas. And then gold getting a pullback, guys, sitting above $3,400 range, but rejection off that $3,500 range, down 2.13%. That's also on the back of those tariff scares on bullion. Not that it affects most of us, but people go, it's news. Let's go ahead and pull back. That's what we're seeing with gold right now. Silver sitting at just under $38. Copper down just slightly, 0.2%. But platinum and palladium both green today. Palladium up 1.2%. And platinum down 0.2%. So Altcoin season. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Guys, we are still sitting at 39 on altcoin season index. So the altcoin season index typically does not trigger a, hey, we are in the alt season. Let's go. Let's get it until we hit 71. Okay. And then it just needs to sustain above 75 for a period of time in order for it to have a sustained run. Right now, we're only at 39 on that index score, far, far off from our traditional ranges here of what is considered altcoin season. So still got plenty of time on the alts to do their thing. So, where are we at with the bull market? Top indicators, top 30 indicators to indicate if we are at the top of the bull market. As of right now, 0 have triggered on that. We're still sitting at that 97% range. No change on this. Bitcoin dominant, even pulling back a little bit here. Where's it at? Bitcoin Dom. And then where you at? Where you at? Where you at? 87? Is that you? No, that's a Bitcoin trend. One of these is going to be our Bitcoin dominance, and it's been pretty much the high. Oh, it's right on top. It's at 92%. This was pretty high, but we're still sitting at 92% on Bitcoin dominance, not getting into that 100% range yet. So 0 have fired at this point. We are not at the top yet, according to the 30 indicators. Looking at the crypto bubbles here, you can see on the hourly, we got a little bit of green. Look at the daily, though. We do have some red mixed in there. Overall, though, right now, Bitcoin up 1.1% on the daily, 0.3% on the hourly, sitting at 119,000, just under 120K. We'll call it that. We'll round it up. Ethereum was up 1.8% on the daily, getting a nice rally at 2.2% on the last hour. BNB flat neutral. Solana slightly down on the daily. Dogecoin down on the daily. Cardano's down on the daily. Any big movers in here? Not really. Bitcoin Cash is 5%, and that's about it. It is a really slow day on the crypto side, just like it is here on the market side. The Dow Jones TradFi side also just pretty much flat neutral. Same as what we're seeing here. Let's go talk about this economic data. Let's get that in there. There we go. Bring it a nice refresh. So we're going to be seeing nothing today. We got a 3-month and a 6-month. Get out of here, you. Get out of here, you. There we go. And I got to pull it back up for you. Economic calendar, because it did that thing that it likes to do. Economic calendar. There we go. Cool. Look, we do have a 3-month and a 6-month today going on here. That is going to be the bill auctions. Nothing big there. They're low risk. They're like 1 star, right? The major one is going to come in tomorrow. It's going to be core inflation rate. This is what everybody is kind of just holding their breath for right now to see what's going on tomorrow. You do not have a chart up there, do you? That is crazy. Let me reload that in for you. Stand by to stand by. That's what we'll do. There we go. Get that up there for you. Whatever can go wrong on Monday will go wrong on Monday. There we go. Screenshot. Thank you. I don't know what's going on with that. We got it, though. We're in like Flynn. All right, so looking at the core inflation rates here, guys. Tomorrow, we're going to get this. It's going to come in at 7:30 my time, 8:30 a.m. on the East Coast, right at market open. How convenient. You can see here previously, we were at 0.2. That's what our current setup is. Consensus and forecast on this is that it will be 0.3 to 0.2%. That would be an increase to our core inflation month over month. Looking at the core inflation year over year, 2.9%, expected to be 3%. That is an increase to our year over year inflation. Again, just regular inflation, because remember, core inflation does not include energy and food, excludes items like energy and food. Okay. So this regular inflation, including those, right now is at 0.3. It's expected to come down. So you got a little playroom there, right? Looking at the month over year over year, it's at 2.7. It's expected to rise or be neutral. So really, right now, we're sitting on razor's edge, and it can go either way, totter to the left, totter to the right, go up, go down. That is what everyone is uncertain about and what's going to happen with the markets tomorrow. And so we're seeing that everybody's just kind of holding their breath in the markets today. No, I wouldn't make any big moves today at all. And here's why, because this can turn around and pump us like crazy, or this can turn around and dump us like crazy. And until we know, if you don't need to make any moves, don't make any moves. That's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of following the DCA Piper plan. That's all we're going to do. BC Port Corp said if inflation comes out hotter than forecast, no rate cuts in September. That's what we're getting ready to talk about. Look at you. Look at you. This man just dropping knowledge. He understands. What is he talking about here, guys? He's talking about this right now. For September, we are looking at an 86.4% chance of a rate cut. Okay. This would likely drop if we had hotter inflation. And again, I've explained the dynamics of that for you, that if we have weakening numbers, then that means you need to cut rates. If we have rising inflation or it's not going away, then you need to raise rates. When you have both, you just stay where the hell you are and don't move, right? It's T-Rex, don't move. That's what they said. I think all that was wrong, though. Looking at October, though, guys, check it out. 94.9% chance of a rate cut in October. You guys see this down here? That is a 53% chance of 50 basis points. That would essentially be a double rate cut of 25 basis point plus 25 basis points going on in October. We'll have to see how this September plays out first, and then we'll go start watching October very closely. As of right now, though, 86.5% chance of a rate cut. We'll see what happens tomorrow with that core inflation number. What else we got going on this week? We got Wednesday. We're going to have the 30-year fixed rate mortgage rate. This has been coming down slightly, not fast enough for most buyers, though, for homes. Thursday, we're going to get PPI. This is going to be your producer price inflation model, okay? And so this is going to come in. You can see that that was dropped down last time, and currently right now we're sitting at 0%. They're expecting a 0.2% inflation increase on producer prices. In retail sales, we're going to get that. That's expected to actually drop. Retail sales is on Friday, and it's saying, hey, look, people are buying less right now. Yeah, because shit's expensive. That's why. And then on 9 a.m., 10 a.m. on the East Coast, right at the end of the show, we're going to get Michigan consumer sentiment, and that is slightly higher or slightly lower. Flip a coin again. So that's our economic data this week. Where are we at on Max Payne? Because this is where we came in, and I'm going to go ahead and bring OC up on this one because this is where last week we talked about, hey, look at this, OC. We got short Max Payne and long Max Payne. That short Max Payne was at $120,000. You also saw it on the heat map here. All of this heat zone coming in 120,000 plus. We've now cleaned it all out. We're coming down. Where do we start to get into levels here of really good pickup? 116. Let's see what they say over here. They're saying on the monthly, Max Payne is just under $112,000 for longs. So that means people that are long, if you bring the price down to $111,852, you will maximize the amount of liquidations in people that are in longs. We need to go to $123,000, which would be damn close to an all-time high, if not there. If that is the case, yeah, then you're looking at us being right in the range of a new all-time high at 123 for the Max Payne on shorts. Let's go see here. Yeah, that's going to be the level right there. Let's go pull that down. 123,231 according to Coinbase, and you're talking 123.63. So just underneath an all-time high is where you will maximize the pain on shorts. So are we going to see these shorts be taken out? Are they going to leave $227 million of shorts sitting at that level and just let it drop down and let them all make a ton of money? I don't know. I actually think we're going to hold pretty decent. Let's go ahead and jump over to my chart, OC, and we'll talk about what I'm seeing here on this. Looking at the 4-hour right now, guys. You can see we did get that rejection right at the 887 coming in. That's the 0.887 fib. If you don't know, it's not a fib level, it's a GAN level. Platinum pocket is the 786 to the 887. A lot of people that you see use this in the YouTube space now. Call that platinum pockets. You're welcome. They got it from me. So looking at the 887 here, we did get that rejection, came down, broke right through the 786, and we're getting our bounce of support right here at around $119,379. That is going to be the 0.66. Again, a GAN level, not a fib level. I don't use the 0.65. Why? Because everyone uses the 0.65, and so they set their stop losses just beyond that. And what happens? That is where market makers move it. So I'm just going to preempt what the market movers are going to do, and I'm going to use a 0.66. Couple of things that I'm watching here. If we look at the daily, you can see we did get our rejection right at value area high of the fixed range volume profile. Okay. We do have a green candle printed here on the daily histogram for the MACD normalized. We did flip into a bullish signal. We have a blue trend line running on the chart prime pro oscillator ribbon. Money flow is back into positive. That's why it's yellow there and it's yellow right there. That is looking decent. And we are seeing that we're not into the red yet on the RSI heat lines. These are Heikin-Ashi candles, and you can see once they go into the reds, that's when we either go sideways, right, or we get tops and pullbacks. We're not quite there yet right now. We're still sitting in this nice orange color. If we are able to pump up into here, I think that we'll hit trigger red somewhere around 125 to $127,000, which would be a new Bitcoin all-time high. Those are the things that you need to watch there. Anything else that I'm seeing currently right now? Let me adjust this. Yeah, we got 84 days left in our cycle runs before we are like, hey, it's time. You're done. Your run is over. Go take your seat, collect your dry powder, and wait for the next rally to start at the bottom. And that's where we buy in. So yeah, right now, 84 days according to the weekly chart there. Let's go talk about this Bitcoin CME gap though, OC. We did have one. Let's bring the first one on. I want to talk about that one because we were looking at this, and this is the warning that we gave everybody. Look, CME gaps. We talk about them every week. On Mondays, I go, hey, here's our CME gap. We talked about this one. Look how many days it took. These are daily candles. It took us almost 2 weeks before we got back into the CME gap and actually closed it out. That was closed out right there. And look, beautiful, beautiful. If this is to come down and close out our new CME gap, which was started from the bottom here to our opening there, that is a CME gap. It's created by the Chicago Mercantile Exchange futures on Bitcoin, and they do typically get closed. Again, we gave this warning weeks in advance, okay? This is the level that I'm watching. It's $117,035, okay? $117,035 is going to be right in line with what we're seeing on this chart. Let me go back here. Bam. 4 hour on the Bitcoin chart. There we go. That $117,000 range, guys, is going to be coming in right here around our 50% fib. If we lose this golden pocket and we come down here, we got a point of control coming off this fixed range volume profile, huge volume nipples over there, double nipples. We got double nipples over there. And then the 50, if you hit on a fib and bounce on the 50, that is typically a very bullish thing to happen. Just like when you come from the bottom and you reject on the 50, that's a very bearish thing. So I am watching that range there. 117 is going to be a key level. I think that this, as the price comes down through here, this point of control will adjust on all of the volume that takes place there. So watch that level, 117,500. We'll call it. It's going to be where I would watch for a great pickup for Bitcoin for me, not for you. It's not financial advice, but that's what I'm watching on Bitcoin. OC, let's go talk about what you're seeing on some alts right now, because I want to come back and talk about the USDC on Circle. I want to talk about that. And then also got a Trump article talking about kicking homeless out. I'm not sure how you kick homeless people out. There's nothing to kick them out of unless you're just going to kick them out of a city. I don't know. I don't know how that works. We'll talk about that in a minute. But OC, let's go look at some charts and see what you got there on the charts, bro.
Absolutely. So, oops, no, just kidding. I just wanted to show you this guy. This is an amazing guy. I don't think that we can play his video, but the stripper index, no, it's a real thing. Just, I mean, if you really want to go for,
it is a real thing. It is a real thing, and it has been very, very accurate. If you guys don't know what the stripper index is, strippers typically know when the markets are about to pull back because of how much they're making and how much their big tippers tend to either, oh, they're tipping really heavy, they took profit, like they can see the changes. But I did read an article recently.
A stripper, you need a PhD on economics.
No. The funny thing is, I read an article recently that said a bunch of strippers were asked about Bitcoin in comparison to the stock markets and stuff like that. And they said that the stripper index does not apply to Bitcoin. Just
Oh,
saying.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
because
All
we
right.
would we would rather hodl our Bitcoin than to hodl something else. We'll go ahead and hand it back to Yossi.
Absolutely. So, really quick, if you guys are not following this guy, is an amazing guy. Go please and follow him. And he has a lot of very fun videos that explains about economics. So it actually shows, for example, right here in this video, and I'm not going to play it. You can go watch it afterwards. How the stripper index actually matches with the traditional things. Another other stuff that rockets when we are on a recession, it is lipsticks and nail polishes. So also a couple of other things. The better that we do in the economy, the more skin that women show on their skirts. So the worse we do, the longer the skirts. I don't know why. And the worse we do, the shorter the scales. And then you can see that. And those are real things that, I mean, how can we measure stuff? Well, we can see a progressive growth throughout history. And well, then just wanted to show that up. It's a very interesting video, very educative, but also very fun video. Let's go now to check out the altcoins right now. So a couple of things is that we might be seeing a double top pattern being formed. Not sure at this moment that it is a double top pattern, but seems to be a double top pattern. And let's remember one of the lessons that we learned on our courses. By the way, those courses are free for now on YouTube, so go watch them as long as they are free out there, because they're gonna become just member only in the short term. In a short term, all right. So in there, we talked about pattern morphology or market morphology, which it's just a fancy name to say, well, when you start seeing a pattern being formed, first remember that that pattern only is a pattern once it breaks its neckline, right? And then it confirms that it's a pattern. So how could you know? Well, you just need to speculate. Part of the speculation, it's also thinking further ahead, which is, all right, if this is not a M pattern or a double top, what could it be? Well, it could actually be a range where we could maybe have a I don't know, a spring and then a continuation, or it could become a Bart Simpson where we could be dropping all the way to 169, for example, on Solana, or 161. So how do we know? Well, that's when your indicators come into place, right? So shout out to chart priming here. Look at the compression that we're having in here. Usually when we have that compression on the clouds, it's just like compressing a bottle of pop, right? Or a bottle of soda. Do you get more compression? If you're a nerd, you know that it's not completely truth, but let's just go with it. So you get more compression, more pressure, and then when you open up that bottle of soda, well, then things burst, right? And what happens? Well, the most probable way for this to burst, since we're having that compression at the top, it will be the easiest way is to go to the downside. The same happen when we have compression down below. Let me find that compression. For example, this is a little bit at a very off compression, but it's not that compressed. And what I'm looking for, it is the same tiny compressed area at the bottom. To show you just a quick example, there you go. Look at this compression at the bottom. Look at how much we're compressing, and look at that. As we're bursting out of the pattern, look at the powerful movement that really happened here, from all the way there to all the way here. All right, so just look at how it played out the other way around, and look at what we could be expecting out of right now charts. Okay, guys, this is not sending you to really get scared of the market. We need to wait a little bit more. And if you guys remember, we were trying to short Solana at Saturday. And what happens here? Ooh, it actually played out very nicely that time. All right, so a couple of other things that I'm looking for in the 4 hour. Let's go and check them out. Are BCH. BCH, I don't like BCH, but we're expecting to hit a previous high right here that it's moving. Well, we're not looking at this point for the short, but we're getting close to get that short. We're breaking through that zero line. We have a higher highs, and we're getting to a resistance, flat top triangle. So actually, funny enough, if I don't, even when I don't like BCH could be, if we're in a good day, breaking to the upside and creating a new high. That will depend if we have a flip of the ribbon in here or if we have a breakout continuation. All right. So what's going to be the game plan? We have a trend line in here. We have dynamic reactor and we have support. If we come back to this support, we're going to be looking first and give it 1 or 2 candles to bounce. And if we bounce, we're going to be jumping to the second candle. Or if we break through, we're going to be entering on the next retracement candle, because I think this could be a 1 candle movement. All right. So that is for the bearish scenario. So let's add an alert right down here. And for the bullish scenario, let's add another alert a little bit higher in here. And then we're going to be looking for the breakout 1 candle retrace and continuation. How far up? Well, then I think we could be aiming for 620 or for 641 just for now. But so far, keep your eyes on your RSI Prime at least. A couple of other things that I'm looking into, for example, it is Ethereum. I was looking for a short on Ethereum on Saturday here. And while it played out in here, it ended up coming down to that area. By the way, we were on the 5 minutes in here. Perfect. It did move very nicely, move my stop to entry, and it ended up just going back up and take me out. Well, not there, actually, right here at 0 loss with a just 50% taking profits, which is fine, right? And at this point, coming back into the 4 hours, that's what I'm looking for, a full-fledged retracement. And that is because of the same pattern that I'm seeing on other altcoins. Look at that. We have that movement to the upside in here, very nice, steady, and parabolic movement to the upside, right? And right now we're flagging out. Is this could be a flag? Yes, but look at that. We have almost the exact same high right here, which creates for now a double top. Once again, we're pushing. I have not yet executed my short, so let's just move it out of the way. All right. And we have not only a little bit of compression here, not as bad as with Solana, but we also have a triple bearish divergence. And look at your RSI Prime. It's coming down. What I really want to see, it is a little more steep of the strengthening here and crossing into our reversal diamond. I think that will basically consolidate the reversal on Ethereum, and that could be a very nice reversal at least to 4,070 or 3,865 to get at the top of this previous range. So those are the main articles that I'm looking at this point. And oh, by the way, LDO. Yep, LDO, I'm looking for another possible short. Haven't jumped in right now, but look at that. Seems like we might have another opportunity. Look at the compression that we're having here. Be aware that while we're making compression, we keep pushing upwards in here, all right? So I'm getting ready to start a short. And what I'm going to be calling out for my first possible entry will be right here at 161. So adding that alert in here, and my stop loss needs to be, since I think we're very far away from an actual measurement. Oh, here it is. Let me just add it. All right, here is another significant high. So let's go for it right here. And I think that will be it. It's just big enough. And then I'm going to be aiming all the way to this reaction point, which is at the top of this area. And of course, it is a little bit below on my support and resistance zone right there. All right, so there we go, right at this zone. And that's what I'm going to be looking into. I'm going to be also adding another alert right here in case we don't reach and we start coming back down. I do want to jump into that short LDO, looking very, very juicy. So that's what I got on altcoins.
Holy crap. Has the chat gone off on the stripper index, bro? I've been sitting here reading it about the whole conversation on the stripper index. Interesting. You guys are crazy over there. Of course, Wave Cypher dropping in with his FBI agent taking notes. So easy guys. So if you guys don't know, before I joined the military back, I was a 9/11 recruit. So when 9/11 happened, I joined the military. I was going to do 4 years. 22 and a half years later, I retired. But before that, I was in the nightclub business. Most of the viewers know this. I was a DJ and bartender and bar manager. I was a managing partner in a very large nightclub. Matter of fact, talked to my son last night about it. One of the clubs that we had, the Indiana Pacers came in 1994 when they were doing the whole Knicks versus Pacers playoff thing. It was very fun. Reggie Miller, Rick Smith, Vern Fleming, a bunch of the players came in. It was pretty cool. But anyway, I digress. So we would go, we had a limo, we had a customer that owned a limo service, came in all the time, and we would do promos where you could get a limo ride and VIP experience and all that stuff at the bars. And so we would hit them up on slow nights and go, hey, bring the limo, man, bring a limo driver, let's go hit some clubs. And we'd go around and see what other bars were doing, right? It was for research, purposes, right? We'd go hit the other bars and see what they were doing on our slow nights so that we knew, hey, they're doing this pretty cool promotion. Let's see if we can work something like that. Anyway, one of those trips, first of all, we were in Indianapolis. Okay, I woke up in Chicago the next morning on a Tuesday morning, I think it was. No clue. Don't remember going to Chicago at all. Woke up in the back of the limo there with a couple of strippers from Indiana. So it was a whole car of people. It was a party. It was a party. Not that nothing going on like that. But anyway, I ended up dating and then dating a stripper for quite a while. Had like a serious relationship with her. So 1 out of 5 would not recommend. 5 out of 5 fun for a while, okay? But overall, would not recommend. So there you go. There's your stripper index from Army Piper. Let's go talk about this thing that that was asked there in the chat. I think it was LBC. He was talking about if you guys don't know, one of these things that just happened on deals with NVIDIA. It's pretty interesting. I want to talk about that. It's what just happened. A thread here from Kabisi Letter. Last night, news emerged of a trade deal that has never happened before. NVIDIA and AMD agreed with Trump to provide the U.S. with 15% of their revenue from chip sales in China to remove export controls. So this is one of their ways that they're getting around that whole, hey, we're going to hit you with this big high tariff, right? Hey, anything that we sell that's not to the U.S., we'll give you 15% of. Why would they do that? Well, it makes a lot of sense. If you actually look at what NVIDIA, what it would cost them, it would be $50 billion, a $50 billion hit over 2 to 3 year period, okay? Versus if they pay the U.S., they're looking. So this would generate close to $25 billion in revenue per our estimates, right? It would cost NVIDIA about $3.8 billion to pay the U.S. 15%, which is a lot less than the $50 billion it would cost them. So that's why these companies are doing this with the U.S. But what does this mean for smaller businesses and startups? It's pretty bad. It's where's it at? The problem is what happens to small companies. Small businesses account for about 44% of the U.S. GDP, and the S&P 500 employs just 18% of Americans. These businesses do not have the leverage to make individual deals with Trump. Rather, they're hit by sweeping blanket tariffs. So not only are we living in a world where the rich get richer and the poor get more poor, and we're creating this wealth gap, we're also going to start doing that with companies. So when you look at this, trade war has now become about making individual deals with Trump. If you can't make a deal, you're subject to broader tariffs. 49% of the Mag 7 revenue comes from outside of the U.S. We expect Amazon, Meta, Tesla, and Microsoft to be next. The market will soon react to these new deals. We believe it is actually going to push stocks higher as the large names get larger and small names get smaller. So, wealth gap there in companies, wealth gap there on with us, the people. So, the Piper Stripper Index. I love it. I love it. Berkoshi no dinero. And then I got this other article here too. If you guys aren't watching, Circle had a nice big pullback. I'll pull the chart up first and we'll talk about that. If you guys don't know, I've been investing in Circle myself. So for clarity, for clarification there. But I was watching this level down here for my next buy-in. It was going to be the platinum pocket on Circle. And I said, look, we get down to 143 to 123. I'll be very interested in picking up some more Circle. We did break the golden pocket, which was like my line in the sand was that 0.618. And I said, okay, I think if we go down here and we get a bounce, that would be another buy-in opportunity for me. I was still way up. We got in at like $89 here at the Piper Academy. But right now we are fighting back with the 0.66 again. And you can see that nice rejection there on it, but holding a green candle still on the 4 hour. Why is this holding so well with the sell-off going on there? Money flow coming back in and all that. Volumes coming back in. Oscillator ribbon. Where is this coming from? South Korean investors are dumping U.S. stock and betting tech stock, I should say, and betting big on stablecoin stock. South Korean retail investors are changing their overseas investment habits, moving away from the traditional U.S. big tech stocks and increasing their interest in crypto-related shares. Decline in U.S. big tech stock purchases between January and April. South Korean retail investors were buying an average of about 1.68 billion monthly in U.S. big tech. However, this number dropped sharply to 440 million, from 1.68 billion to 440 million in May, with further declines of 670 million in June and 260 in July. Where are they putting it at? They're going into the stablecoin market. So stablecoins have become the main focus for South Korean investors because the country is a global leader in crypto innovation. Several Korean banks are preparing to enter the stablecoin market, anticipating upcoming regulatory reforms. They plan to launch a KRW backed stablecoin within a year. That's the won, the Korean won. If you don't know, now you know. With ongoing concerns about U.S. tariffs and market uncertainty, South Korean retail investors are cautious about U.S. stocks and are increasingly favoring stablecoin-linked assets as safer, regulated crypto investments for the near future. And one of those big ones that they're going into is Coinbase, USDC Circle. And so, under the Genius Act, Korean Center for International Finance reports that investments in digital asset stocks have surged, especially in shares connected to stablecoins under the U.S. Genius Act. So, that is what's going on there. We are seeing a little surge of rally going on here with the Circle stock price right now. So this is longer. Piper's gone without sharing screen. I'm sorry. Um, my bad. I explained it all pretty well. Did I not? I was shellacking. Anyway, I was reading to you guys about the thing. I apologize. Here, there you go. There's a screen share. There's the article. South Korean investors dump U.S. tech, and there's that chart that I'm watching, 143 to 123. There's the golden pocket. There you go. Quick synopsis wrap up there. My bad. Summary. All right, OC. We got about 10 more minutes here before we head into check out Crypto Coin Mindset. He's got a great show going over there, but I want to ask you about this before you jump in on a couple of homeless altcoins that aren't doing that hot. Some of them are not. So they may have had rallies. They're not even close to all-time highs on some of them. But let's talk about this real fast, because I found this interesting, and this happens today. It's all over Twitter if you guys don't know. Now back to the hookers. What were you saying? Crypto Billy in the house. I love you, bro. Trump warns homeless to leave Washington immediately, Washington, D.C. He said this on social media that the homeless have to move out immediately. Again, where in the hell are they moving out to? How do you move out when you're not? What are they going to do? Grab their grocery cart and walk out? This is not how this works. Dude. Anyway, President Donald Trump on Sunday again signaled that he is ramping up plans to target crime in Washington, D.C., even as data shows that crime rates in the national capital are falling. He also issued a warning to the city's homeless population. The homeless have to move out immediately. We will give you places to stay, but far from the capital. Trump remarks come as he has increased his rhetoric about countering crime in the district in recent days after a former member of the Department of Government Efficiency was assaulted in an attempted carjacking. Let's be honest. I don't think it was a homeless dude that did that assault. Okay. Could be wrong. I don't think it is. Secondly, tying this directly to crime in the same sentence, I think is it's a straw man argument, right? I don't think that homeless people are the cause of crime. I think that crime is going to occur regardless of your homeless population. But I do think that it is a sign of economic hardship, and behavioral. It's there's a mindset thing. There's a psychological impact going on with some of these people. At the end of the day, I think moving them is not fixing the problem. It's fixing the symptom of what the cause is. And so I don't agree with it in my personal opinion. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down there. Obviously we don't want homeless people living in our front yards and in our town. It happens, right? But that's not what we wanted. It's horrible for property values, this and that. But at the end of the day, I think if you're going to address homelessness, you address it with some finesse and a little emotion, EQ, a little emotional intelligence there, right? I think Van Lifer cracked down too. I don't know what you're saying there, David. Um, yeah. Anyway, oh, van livers, I think is what you're saying. People that live in vans. So I think that if he's going to address this, he really needs to address this on the root cause. What is causing our large number of homeless people? OC, I know you're down in Mexico, and so you guys have a lot of very low income areas down there, and you've got a lot of people that would be homeless if it wasn't for the communities that are surrounding them. Let's be honest. That's Mexico takes much better care of its neighbors than we do in the U.S. There in your towns. What are your thoughts on this? I'd love to hear your opinion on all of this, man.
Absolutely. So first, let me like confirm that what's going on in here. When you're in a low income area or barrio, it is people take care of each other, right? The way that they can, and that becomes a community thing. But let me also bring up the broken window psychology thing. So I think I completely agree with you that moving them out of the zone will not fix the issue itself. I think the homeless epidemic is talking about a more in deeper problem, right? Which has to do with both society and economic. And the government does need to address that, but for the root cause. Coming back into the broken window, well, there was an experiment where they have the same car and they park it into a very nice neighborhood and another not too nice neighborhood. As you would expect, the car parked outside of a not too nice neighborhood, it ended up vandalized and broken into, and not really good take good care of it. But as soon as in the good neighborhood they broke a window on that car and left it like that, the result was stunning. It presented the exact same conducts of the low or the not nice a neighborhood into the car. I mean, even people that didn't were prone to violence or anything like that, they scratched the car, they vandalized the car, they broke their windows, they destroyed their wheels, and they did a bunch of stuff. So I think that's what he's going for, that psychological leverage, where if you just move the homeless, you're gonna have a more safety and less prone to violence and crime. Is not directly related because the root of the problem, it's gonna come back again because we're not addressing the actual root of the problem. But I think it will lower violence and crime a little bit, and that is because of that psychological factor that you were saying, right? So again, I'm not things should be thought otherwise, I think, or handled
Yeah,
otherwise.
yeah, and let's be honest. A lot of these. So I knew a homeless guy in Fort Hood area, and he would never ask for money. Like he stayed like back off the road, was not up there asking for anything ever. And when people tried to give him money, he'd get mad at him. He'd be like, I appreciate it, but I didn't ask you for anything. I don't need anything. I live here because I want to live here. He just unplugged from the system. And that's what he did. So, but a lot of these are psychological issues also. You got people with they've hit rock bottom and they don't know how to climb out. Of course, drug abuse is a big factor also. Again, all of the root causes of what causes homelessness not being addressed at all. Let's just move it someplace else and pay for them to go somewhere. And then I saw someone up there say that they don't even house the veterans. How are they going to do that? Like, you're right, absolutely right. Shout out to Crypto Billy. I think you nailed it. Crypto Billy said, wealth distribution really is the issue to fiat. Not everybody is homeless because of lack of wealth. Some people are homeless just because they unplugged from the system and don't want to be part of the society anymore. So it's a thing. It's a thing. Oh, see, we got time for one more altcoin. What is your Hail Mary altcoin today? Some of these are way far off, like way far off of where they need to be. What's your Hail Mary altcoin today? And then we'll head over to Crypto Coin Mindset, bro.
All right, so my Hail Mary icon, we already have gone through it, which is Solana, because it's looking very toppy. It has a very nice area for liquidity grab, which is from here to there. So I think that this could be a good drop. But since we already have looked into it, let's go and take a look at, for example, INA. Why am I looking at INA at this point? Look at how high had it climbed up, right? So maybe going for that reversal. Look at that area of compression again, peak performance. Everything is pointing out that it is very high up in here. So what I'm going to be doing, it is going for a parabola. So what is my parabolic movement? Well, let's just keep it simple, because I can draw an arch, and I think that will be the most important part, so the most beneficial. So I'm looking for that bottom part, top part, and then doing my parabolic movement here, and then just adjusting it to where we are. So let me try to give myself a little slack like this, all right, just to compensate. And then, of course, I'm going to right click, lock it, and right click, and that will be it, because I cannot create or have a alert onto it. But what I can do is try to look for where's that volume, and I see it right here. And from there on, I'm going to create a tangent. And that from that tangent, I can right click and add an alert to that tangent. So what happens with most of the parabolic movements, they flag out and die. I don't know why, but that's usually what happens. Flag out, double top or something, and then they died out. So based on how far can we go, I think we could be looking at a 21% movement, no leverage. And if we put a 10% leverage, or 10x leverage in here, we could be looking at 212% of a movement that we are able to catch, maybe the bounce up out of that parabolic movement. So I think that is a good opportunity. I'm going to also add another alert here at the top. And so in case it bounces back up and then bounce back down, I'm going to be more than happy to short INA. So that's the one that I'm looking into. Hopefully those shorts start revealing themselves, because I think we need them, and need them very badly.
Yep. Get the markets resettled. All right, bro. I appreciate it, man. OC, thank you for being here today. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate everyone that joined us here today. You guys held in there. We went down a little tangent, a little rabbit hole here on some personal opinion stuff that I'm just reading, and I'm like, why? But we'll see how it all turns out. If you guys got anything out of today's content, please smash up that like button. I appreciate it. It helps us out here immensely. We're trying to grow, and we're trying to keep everyone in the know. If you share it out with a friend, just tell them, hey, go check out Piper Academy. It helps us immensely. I hate asking you guys, but man, does it help. So thank you guys for being here today. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. BC Port Corp will be back on Wednesday, so he's still not back tomorrow. Hang tight on that. But we got CPI data coming in tomorrow. We're going to be breaking all that down. You got to make sure you tune in tomorrow. OC, you doing OC Trades Live tonight?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. So tune in tonight, 8 p.m. with OC Guy. Appreciate you, OC. Go do your class. I know you got one over there. And we'll be back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, breaking down the news, the headlines, the CPI data, and everything that you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until next time, guys, trade safe, use some risk management. Peace, love, and profits. We're out.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage.
We'll see you at the next
Don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out. Ow, ow, ow.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?